small intimate session, which is quite good. And I will really value the opportunity to engage with you throughout the session. And maybe before we kick off, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Rendani. I'm one of the senior management team members holding the position of the CEO of APC as well as Endunam. And I'm also one of the lecturers that will be engaging with throughout the program. So just to give you a quick overview, so we were recently accredited by ICAZ in order to deliver the APC professional program. So this is something that we've been working with them for the past couple of months. And we only got to find ourselves here a few weeks or rather days before we kick off our program. So we then wanted to just schedule this open days just specifically for the professionals that will be pursuing the CA-ZIM designation through the ACCA as well as the CIMA pathways. And this is something that we felt that we needed to talk to you about because firstly, from a CIMA perspective, this is something that we've always been doing since the pathway was introduced in 2022. We have achieved some noteworthy success, as the next slide will show. But one of the things that we just wanted to make sure we are mindful of is the context in ZIM, as well as just to better make sure that we are able to support you in this journey that we'll be on together. And this not only includes the CIMA professionals, but it also includes the ACCA professionals. And we're just going to talk about how then the programs that we have are meant to support you to get them. Evening, Edwell. I see you are in. Your video is on. Evening. Thank you for joining. I'm not sure if you can. Sure. All right. Yeah. So that's essentially the idea here. And the other objective of this session is just to also get to hear from you if there are any questions that you probably need clarity on that we or ICAZ can answer. It's always good that once you're registered with us, we are able to support you fully. So any question that you might have at this particular point that you will want to be answered, if I've got the answer, certainly I'll provide it. But if I don't, it's something that I'll want to take and just make sure when we catch up with ICAZ, we're able to raise it and be able to come back to you so that you have certainty about some of those aspects. And I know as we're speaking to some of you, either myself or the AMD, that there was those that were saying that they are in ZIM and they've completed their CIMA there, but because it's a global qualification, it doesn't matter. But there was an interest to say that if I've got and I'm based in ZIM, can I then enter the pathway to sit for ICAZ exam? And that's something that we're going to speak about because there are additional hurdles or additional step or consideration that one needs to make. So the decision is entirely yours. So when you are enrolled into this program, it will be very important for you to make the call whether you are going to be sitting for the CA ZIM or CASA qualification. And what is the impact of that? So that is an option that is only available for the CIMA candidates. Whereas for the ACCA, currently CICA does not have any pathway agreement with you. So accordingly, the ACCA pathway is only available if you are pursuing CA ZIM. So that is something that I just wanted to put out there before we go in. But yes, we'll unpack it as I go through the journey. But more importantly, what I want to just also bring your attention to is this slide right here. Because for those that may be saying that, oh, wait, I just heard about you guys. I heard you've been accredited, but who are you? What have you done? How have your candidates performed in the program, and so on. So in a snapshot, this looks at our 2023 year, but it will just give you a glimpse of our journey up to so far. So first of all, it's that we were accredited by CICA under the COVID era. We were accredited exactly on the 2nd of April 2020, a few days just after the lockdown. So yesterday was essentially us celebrating our 4th year. And in that key milestone, really, some of our footprint is captured by this slide right here. Like for instance, since we started, we have impacted or issued certificates to candidates that eventually produced chartered accountants for more than 150 candidates. And this is this is excluding candidates that were with us in our program, including candidates that were coming from ZIM that we previously could not issue certificate to and join the program. So all those are excluded. But if we are to just put some highlight into that, you will notice that last year we had a couple of candidates from ZIM, and out of those, 3 of those candidates were placed in the ICAZ top 10 list. So this is some of the achievements that we have been able to secure since our accreditation in 2020. And in addition, after the pathway agreement, the CIMA pathway agreement was launched in July 2022, we've had then candidates who have come in as CIMA members into our program, complete the program as CIMA members, and have done so well. Then in addition, in 2022, we then launched our first CIMA to CA program. And that program, the one I'm going to talk to you tonight about, essentially recognizes the diverse background that you have as CIMA professionals. And it then aims to do what? It then aims to bridge the gap between that background as well as what is expected from a CA route. So we then had the first course that we took in August 2022, and we journeyed together up until November 2023. And in terms of the candidates that we then issued certificates to, 75% of those cohorts made it in the APC December 2023. Then in terms of some of our other highlights, our program has consistently exceeded the pass rate forward for against the national pass rate, and especially so when it comes to African candidates. And as you will see there, that from an African candidate's perspective, the national average was sitting at 39% last year, and ours was about what, 52%. Our overall pass rate was at 57, whereas the national was at 52. From an ICAZ perspective, the national was 49%, and even at this rate, we were still sitting at higher than them. So this is just in terms of EPC, who we are and what we've been able to achieve so far. We are really excited about then fully embarking on the ZIM journey and then partnering with you as ACCA as well as CIMA professional to secure even more highlights, milestone, and success for you. Because your success essentially is what makes us successful. So we've got a vested interest to seeing you succeed. And the idea, as you will see as I unpack the program, is that we've got really a mentorship, a partnership mentality, where we recognize that what we bring on the table, it will never be enough unless it is one fully accepted and reciprocated by what? By yourself. When now you will then commit as much as we will be committing into seeing yourself as a success into the program. So that is who we are. And I don't know if at this particular point, there are things that you want to clarify, or I can just talk about my agenda. Right, so let me see. Okay, no chat, so I'll proceed. Then when it comes to what? When it comes to the agenda that we've got, it is essentially just to unpack who we are. So I've already shared some of those highlights. Then talk about our support structures and clarify the CIMA to CA conversion course. So in its design, it was a CIMA to CA course. But as I'm saying, that it's now, when it comes to the ZIM context, suitable for those that want to add, for ACC members that want to add the CA ZIM designation to their name. Then we're going to talk about our professional program. And lastly, just on a high level, some general information. So just a very quick agenda. And as I'm saying, I'll want to understand whether there's anything that you will also want to understand. And maybe at this point, if I can, let me just do this. So I'm going to type CIMA and ACCA. So if you can please just indicate by just thumbs up on the option that applies to you. So if you're a CIMA member, then please just thumbs up the CIMA text. If you're an ACC member, you can please thumbs up that one. And if maybe for some reason you are in the traditional route, I'll also want to just understand that, because then just to make sure, better understand who is part of what, who is part of this particular session. Okay, thank you, thank you. So I see. So if you can indicate, please, I see a number of, I see, okay, so mostly CIMA so far, ACCA I see. But I've got only 6 and I see more of you here, just to confirm. Okay, so we've got 1 traditional. Okay. All right, so. All right, so just, yeah, about 8 have indicated. So thank you very much for that. And And then I think, so that will be a good starting point. So CIMA members are still the dominant here, but let's go into it. So as I was saying, that when it comes to what? When it comes to who we are, we have, for the past 10 years, really, have been involved in supporting candidates that are looking to become chartered accountants. We initially started doing that through our CTA support course, where we were predominantly supporting UNISA candidates. We started that about in 2013. Then a few years later, we launched our ITC board course. It grew along with our CTA program, but we felt that we needed to support our candidates all the way towards the end of the professional journey. And then we added the APC in 2020, as I was saying, and now recently we've just got an accreditation from what? From ICAZ. In terms of the team that has been responsible for that, this is essentially the team that we have really worked with since the accreditation journey, and they've been instrumental. They understand the program, they understand our candidates' needs, and they are really passionate about what they do. So in terms of some of the things that you'll get to see make us quite unique, are things related to just being present when we engage and deliver the program with you. And that starts all the way from the management team, that this is one team that you will get to engage quite a lot with across different platforms and different magnitude, depending at different aspects of the program. Like everyone who is our MD, she looks after you from a caretaking perspective, and by extension, just making sure that when it comes to things such as mentorship, ensuring that you've got effective support throughout the program, including support through the assessments that you're going to write. She is the one that drives that. In terms of then the academic, the technical, that is Fedi, who is our academic head. So Fedi then looks at the academics, making sure that the program that we put before you, and this is recognized that we've got a diverse background of candidates, candidates with quite a diverse background in our program, being the traditional candidates from South African perspective, being CIMA candidates, being ACCA candidates. So he looks at all that and just make sure that the quality of the assessment, the quality of the support that we provide really meets you at where you need to be. Then from my side, I work with both of them in order to just make sure from just where we are and everything that we promise and engage with the different regulators like ICAZ and ACCA really comes together and deliver a program that we can all be proud of at the end of the day. And as I was saying, myself, I'm also one of the lecturers in the program. Then from a lecturing perspective, we've got a number of lecturers, but what I've just got here are the heads in terms of the 4 technical disciplines. The accounting head being Asen, and Fedi then playing a dual role of being the auditing academic head. We've got Elton, who is our what? Who is our math as well as strategy head. And we've got Madodonke, who is our tax head. So in terms of just really what makes this team quite unique, it's not only the passion that they've got for their respective disciplines, but it's just the extensive experience that they've got in the technical disciplines that they lead. Like Asen was previously head of IFRIS for one of the leading investment banks in South Africa. And now he is a senior manager at an international bank, investment bank, and still looking after IFRS. So you can imagine that in terms of the latest development, when we do our CPD sessions, he really unpacks things that the markets are thinking about, that you will need to understand as future responsible business leaders. Then Fedi, on the other hand, he has been a partner and has been with KPMG for several years. He's quite passionate about accounting and about auditing and really solving some of the kind of problems that the auditing profession gets to experience, and just in terms of really preparing you and also exposing you to that real world experience. No one could be better in that regard. Then we've got Elton, who in addition to delivering or leading the math team, is also our critical thinking guru. So he is really a doctor, specializing in both specialized in critical thinking. And he brings that, as you can imagine, if you think about math and strategy, he brings that in the delivery of those modules. But in addition, he also hosts workshop dealing with critical thinking. Then Madodonke has been a tax manager at one of the listed local firms here in South Africa, which has got footprints also in footprints in Zim, as well as Rwanda. So you can imagine that when you talk about international exposure, when we talk about delivering a program that is suitable not only for South African candidates, but also for Zim candidates, he is quite placed in terms of just understanding some of those dynamics. So these are then in terms of the technical and the strategic aspects of the program will be the people that you'll be dealing with and driving the thinking in the program. Then one of the things that also makes us quite unique is the kind of attention that we give even outside the technical. And we do so through what we call a caretaking team. That caretaking team is led by Zelia, who's our chief caretaker, supported by a candidate caretaker, Nontata. And in addition, we've got a caretaker that will be exclusively supporting you as our ICAZ court. So that person is from Zim, and they understand the dynamics. And when it comes to just providing the on-ground support, especially during assessments, that will be the person that you will be dealing with. So that person will then be joining us, and you'll get to experience and work with them later in the program. What is also quite interesting is just to localize the experience for you in terms of breaking the language barrier. I don't know about you, but sometimes, when you're calling the likes of, say, these big companies, Vodacom, and someone who answers in Chivenda, it excites me. So I don't know whether that's something that will excite you, but if it is, then you'll be excited that we've got someone who will be connecting you with your local language. So that's something that we really are excited about, in order just to affirm our commitment to supporting you quite effectively when it comes to your journey with us. So this is really then the team that you will be working with quite a lot in the program, and just making sure that you then are well prepared for the APC assessment and the world beyond that. And as I'm saying, the team is available, it's passionate, it's empathetic, and I'll want you, once you are part of the program, to really connect with that and make sure that when it comes to engaging, you really do so and don't take a backseat to it. And as I'm saying, because we are really talking about a CIMA program and an ACCA program that has recently been part of this APC journey. Sometimes it can feel that the APC has not been adapted in order to consider your route. But we are here to bridge that gap for you so that you don't feel that gap. So if you are saying from an admin perspective, you've got all these things, you don't know where to start, that's what then the caretaking team will do. If you are saying that, no, guys, I did the CIMA route and I've not been exposed to the kind of tax you are talking about, how do I bridge that gap? The team is ready to bridge that gap. If you are saying that, yes, I did ACCA, but it's just I did it a long way before and I need some refresher, how do I start? So we really have a program that makes sure connects all those dots for you. So please do not be a stranger once you are part of the program. For us, you'll never be another number. We are very personalized in our approach. So when we get to talk about the program, you'll then get to see that. But now, let's really talk about then the support structure. How have we thought about it? And yes, we have thought about it a little bit differently from how we deliver support to our what? To our traditional route candidates. So the idea here is that we have come to recognize that three things really affect the success of either of CIMA professionals, and so we believe by extension ACCA professionals. And that is one, the academic background. And when I talk about academic background, I'm recognizing the undergraduate qualification as well as the professional qualification and the timing that one will have then completed those or will have achieved the respective qualification. Because it's one thing to say that, yes, I'm a CIMA member, I did math, I did 1, 2, 3, and so on. I'm a ACCA, and there's a little bit more accounting, there's a little bit more of this and that, but without recognizing that time is such a crucial factor. Because we get to see it even in our traditional routes when it comes to CTA, that even if someone comes and say that I have done CTA and passed ITC, the next question that follows will be when. Because we understand that someone who passed, say, last year, is more likely to have covered the latest development and also to grasp some of the latest thinking in the profession. Whereas someone who can then say to us, no, I qualified in 2019, that makes what? A little bit of a difference. So when I talk about academic background being one of the considerations that we take, it is exactly that, the timing as well as the qualification. And then from our initial understanding or investigation of the academic space, is that the university structure that side is a little bit different from the South African perspective. From a South African perspective, our candidates choose early on whether they want to do CA, become accounting with CA specialization, or become accounting without CA specialization. Then there's also things like Bachelor of Business Science. Then there's also become financial management and so on. So there's quite a diverse number of qualifications that really lead someone to say a CIMA qualification or an ACCA qualification. So then the question is that, or when we then explored the same from a ZIM perspective, we then found that from a ZIM perspective, unlike the South African space, there's really not much of say become CA specialization, become non-CA specialization, because we understand the dynamics in terms of, say, the academic structure, the number of CAs that deliver and support this kind of programs in the academic journey, as well as the number of CTA providers, the structure is fundamentally different from that in South Africa. So recognizing that, we then also recognize that almost everyone has got some accounting background. However, the CTA accounting and also auditing, it's pitched at a legal level above most accounting qualification. And the same is true in the South African context. So when you join the program, whether you are an ACCA member or a CIMA member, we really commit to just making sure that your experience is different. So one of the things that we will like to better understand once we do that, and we do so by asking you to complete a form which we call the Know Me Better form, and we take that data to just understand what kind of professionals we are dealing with, so that we can be able to understand from an academic background, where are you, and what kind of academic support will you need. But you might be sitting here and saying that, I know I've not studied in a long time, and that worries me. How do I fix this? We're going to get to that. Then number two is the professional background. That what have you been doing since you qualified? One, some of you could be auditors, some of you could be finance managers, some of you could have been also senior finance managers or even finance directors. Some could be running your own business, some you could be management accountants, and so on and so on. So the diversity of the background also then is a key consideration. Because as I'm saying, accounting is such a crucial aspect of the APC. And it becomes very necessary for someone to be very close to it on a day-to-day basis, meaning that you either engage with the auditors on a technical matter in accounting, and therefore you are able to open the standards, engage, and look at technical opinions and be able to dispute them on a technical basis. You could be doing that as a role in technical division, or you could be doing that as an auditor yourself, raising these findings and so on. So some of the professional background does contribute quite positively to your journey. And in some instances, yes, it could be that it's a CFO role, which is very good and quite admirable. But in itself, because it deals with other strategic things that probably are beyond the APC assessment, and not going into some level of detail that, say, a finance manager will go into in preparing or putting together those financial statements, it then creates some kind of a barrier or creates a need for one to then work through their technical. And this was even shared and really highlighted by one of our recent CIMA to CA candidates, who mentioned to us that she is a finance executive at one of the listed firms. And she found that the technical expected from an APC perspective was too demanding, something that she doesn't need to go into detail on, say, in a role. It's either because she's got a technical division that she can just send things that are too technical to them, but now she's expected to be that technical person. So that's where professional background comes in. Then the third bubble talks to flexibility. That some come to us and say, I want to do this and I want to sit for the APC 2024. And as much as that is possible, there are circumstances in terms of maybe their role, their personal circumstances. It's someone that is now juggling, say, maybe studies, maybe juggling a very demanding role, juggling family, and all those things, that sometimes there could be a mismatch between the desire as well as the circumstance that one is facing. And will not want to say that academic and professional are the only things, but will want you to be able to reflect on what? On the flexibility thereof. And say that when I look at the timetable, this program demands that I then sit for an assessment on this date. But this is the time where I need to be presenting to the boards and getting my budget signed off. And I know the madness of getting budget signed off, and I know I will not be present enough in this program. Or otherwise, you could be saying, this is our year end. I know the auditors will be on my case before we sign off these financials. This will not work. Or I know that I'm currently working on these key projects. I know I'm currently traveling. I know. So that's where the flexibility comes in. So all these things, you can see that they're very individualized, they're very personalized, and they're crucial to getting to an answer of how do you then proceed with the offerings that we've got. And then just to quickly talk about those two, it is what? It is the CIMA program, the CIMA prep program or conversion course, as well as the APC program. So how do they then work? So the CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course, this is the one that is saying that, one, I've not studied in a very long time. I know if I try to jump into an APC program, it will either be wasting my time and wasting my money. So I'll want to just take the time to bridge the technical gaps, to then get back into the full string of things, and then take it easy by bridging the gaps in 2024, and come 2025, then jump into an APC program. So this CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course program will then be kicking off mid-April. So the other week, not next, the other week of April, it will be kicking off. And it will be kicking off in and saying what? It'll be kicking off and saying that we've got the next 6 months together. These are the primary objectives of this program that we need to fill, and we are going to fill them through Y, X, Z, and so on. And the idea is to really bridge or amend or retrench your technical. And if you are coming from a CIMA background, perfect. By the time you are done, your familiarity with IFRS statements will be on top of the game. Your comprehension of ICAZ also will be out of this world. And tax, you also have an opportunity to build those gaps. Then, from an APC perspective, if you are saying that no, it's either I've done an APC program and I'm clear, or I've just recently qualified, so I'm still quite fresh and I want to continue the momentum. So like for instance, you could be saying that I wrote the FEB strategy case that I'm expecting my results next week. So once you get your result, you might say, I want to jump into the program. And I've just studied, so I'm still fresh about some of these concepts. So I want to build on that momentum. So yes, you can jump into what the APC professional program, because it's only kicking off on the 6th of April. And it does what? It then runs all the way through to November. How it's structured, we're going to talk about it in the next couple of slides. But let me just talk to you about then the CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course. So yes, when it starts in April, it ends somewhere in what? In November. It's got recess period sometime in between because it recognizes the need for you to catch up because maybe there could be interruption because of work aspect and so on. So we cover accounting, take about a 2-week gap. We then go to audit, take a 2-week gap. Then we go to math, take a 2-week gap, tax 2-week gap. So there is about what? There is about enough breathing space, but otherwise enough catching up space for you to really make sure by the end of the program, you what? You have met the objective. In terms of assessments, it's very light. Most of the assessment that we'll do, we work through them together in class. So there'll be tutorials that you'll need to attempt, and we will then discuss them quite extensively in class. And at the end of each and every phase, you'll then submit a tutorial which we mark and give you extensive feedback. Then at the end of each phase, you then also have time to consult on a one-on-one basis in order to bridge any gaps that you might have. So that is that. Then we also focus quite extensively on the CTA syllabus. But before the program ends, we then talk about the structure of the APC, and we then just have a high-level discussion to ease you into the APC professional program that will then be launching in 2025. So that is how then this program works. Then when it comes to, so yes, maybe let me pause here before we talk about the main program. Let me hear from you. If you go through the CIMA to CA prep course, will you be able to complete the APC this year? Yes, so the answer to that is that no, because it's a 6-month course. So if you start on it this year, it means that you'll only have time to sit for the APC professional program in 2025. So as I was saying, this program, the CIMA to CA, it's then created to really bridge the gap before you jump into an APC professional program. Then to the next question from Rebecca, she's asking, can you do the 2 courses concurrently if you want to write? Yes, but given that we are recognizing that we are talking to professionals here that are already juggling work commitments, and the APC program itself, it might not be the best of decisions, because it will mean that there could be clashes in the program sometimes, where now there is a class in the APC program and there is a class in the CIMA to CA program. That will mean that you either, 1, have to choose, and number 2, you will need to then catch up on the other program, in addition to probably working through whatever you might have learned or preparing for the next class, and in addition having to juggle work commitments. So we will not recommend that. So we will not recommend that because we don't want you to put an investment that might not yield the anticipated return. So we will want you to really consider it quite carefully. If needed be, as I'm saying, we are available, so you can either chat to myself, you can chat to our MD, or chat to our academic head regarding maybe your pressure points. Maybe there are pressure points that maybe we can work through and see if, say, the APC professional program will be able to meet, or otherwise, we could then do what? We could then say that, yeah, according to our view, this is probably the best route to then take, but the decision will still be yours. So I think just to capture that, I'm just saying that, yeah, doing 2 of the programs, especially if you've got a full-time job, we will not recommend it. If you need to then talk around it, please reach out to EPC Care, ask for an appointment, and we'll then be more than happy to discuss your options with you and see how best we then work together. Okay. Then, all right, thank you so much, Fidi. Linda, saying, sir, my question may be out of context, but how do I make payments to a number from Zim? I check on the site, your question not available in Zim. Will be helpful if you can get. So just to confirm, yeah. So we'll also talk about it under the general information. So the Yoko is simply a payment gateway. So what it means that it facilitates the acceptance of payments from credit cards such as Visa, MasterCard. We've got a number of candidates already from Zim that have used it and paid using that platform. We've been using it since 2022. Even from an ITC perspective, we've had candidates finding it to be a very good payment option. So it's not that it's a payment processor, it's just a gateway. So I forgot these technical names, but it's a gateway. It just sends you directly to Visa and MasterCard rather than it being an alternative to them. So if you click it, then you'll see that it will ask for a Visa or MasterCard number and you can proceed from there. Okay, I hope that's clear, Linda. Okay, sure. If you have exhausted your ITC attempts, what are your available options for you to be able to write APC? And so yes, thank you so much for that question. So if you are there, you will probably need to then start with our CIMA program. So the CIMA program is a separate program. So when you go on our website, you will see that there is CIMA to CA and CIMA. So our CIMA program will be launching next week. So the CIMA program will then be your first step to say, if you are saying that I've exhausted my CTA, my ITC attempt, or my ITC attempts, and I don't want to go back to CTA. So our program is then kicking off next week with the management level. So once you then complete your management level, we are going to work together so that you can sit for the management case study in August 2024. So once you have ticked and you've passed the management case study, you can then do what? You can then come and you'll then join our CIMA strategic level program so that you can sit for the strategic case study either in November or in February next year. So what it will therefore mean, it will mean that once you've passed the strategic case study, you can join our APC professional program, and you'll then be able to do what? You'll then be able to complete APC end of 2025 and also sit for APC in November/December 2025. So for you, it will be complete a CIMA program first and then do the APC professional program. Clear, Andisiwe? All right, great. Yeah, so you can, there's also an open day video there that also goes into the detail, but if you need any further information, don't hesitate to reach out. Rebecca, can you please clarify how many attempts do we get to convert to CIMA? So interestingly, Rebecca, the previous dispensation, ITC to CA, limited your attempts to only 2. But with APC, it's a bit different now. How so? If you complete the APC professional program, we then issue you with a certificate. So that's where the accreditation comes in. So now that we've been accredited by ICAZ as well as CICA, it means we can issue a CICA or ICAZ certificate that will be valid for 3 APC attempts, meaning that once you secure it in 2024, you can sit for APC 2024. If it doesn't come right, then you can use the same certificate in 2025. If it doesn't come right, you can use it for the last time in 2026. So now what happens after 2026 if it does not come right by then? It means that you will need to then enroll into the program once more so that you can get a new certificate, and that will also be valid for 3 more years. So if then, let's say you sit for APC 2024 with the certificate, 1 year attempt is done, then you come back in 2025 to work through those gaps, and you then get the certificate again. It's like now the certificate starts from 0. So you will now start counting back 1 in 2025, 2, 2026, 2027. So every time you complete a professional program, you then renew it and it starts from afresh. Make sense? All right. So yeah, that is that. Thank you. Then the program, the professional program. So Fred is then just going to talk to you on a high level about the program. So he will just talk through this slide and he will talk about the journey that you will need to walk through with us. And if you then have clarity, any further questions for clarity, we'll then unpack those and take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Rendani, and good evening, everyone. Really going to keep it high level because Rendani has really spent time unpacking different journeys between CIMA to CA preparatory course versus the APC professional course. So the structure of the program that I'm going to be talking to you about is the APC professional course. So if you are of the view that you will be ready to write and sit for the ICAZ APC in December 2024, or if you do decide to start with CIMA to CA preparatory course, then what is going to be the APC professional course of 2025 going to look like that you will join in 2025 to be able to sit for APC 2025. Right, so for our APC professional course, we've got, we split it into 3 phases, and the first one is the development phase. We go to demonstration phase, then assessment phase. In the development phase, what do? There, we spend time teaching you about competencies that are required of a professional accountant. We call this professional competencies. So these professional competencies are split into 3 areas. So we've got technical competencies. Those are what you know. So the normal tax, accounting, audit, risk management and governance, I think I spoke about accounting, management, accounting, and finance. So those are your technical competencies that you would have learned either through the CIMA to CA preparatory course or your undergrad and postgrad degrees that you already have, or whichever area. So we really remind you of those. But as you can see, it's quite a short period of time, April to May. But it's not just that. I said there are 3 areas within this professional competencies. It's those technical competencies, number 1. Number 2, what do we teach you is what we call professional values and attitudes. So for you to be a chartered accountant, you are required to always be ethical. So for you to be ethical, you need to know how to navigate through ethical dilemma. So to demonstrate ethical leadership. So those are some of the professional values and attitudes that we need to enhance and ensure that you've possess those skills, including lifelong learning, citizenship, etc. The third area is what we call enabling competencies. And enabling competencies are really what makes you thrive as a chartered accountant. Here we're talking about things like critical thinking, business acumen, business writing, etc. So decision-making acumen. So those are enabling competencies. So we spend April and May teaching you those skills to the core. Okay, with a specific focus on those enabling competencies and professional values and attitudes, and brushing up on the technical competencies because of the understanding that they would have been developed elsewhere. So in that process, there are regular tasks to assist you in developing your professional competence between April and May. And if you are looking to join us for the APC professional course of 2024, we are kicking off, because we're already in April, we're kicking off our first session on Saturday, the 6th of April. So you really have 2 days to lock your registration and make sure that you're fully registered so that you jump onto the train before it starts moving. Then the second phase is this demonstration phase. In the demonstration phase, we say, we've taught you all those professional competencies. We've instilled them in you, those enabling competencies, those professional values and attitudes, and those technical competencies. Let's now use a previous ICAZ case study to demonstrate to you how you demonstrate those competencies in an assessment. So in a case study format, how does this case study look like? And how am I going to be assessed as competent in those 3 areas of competencies I've outlined? So we really walk the journey with you between May and June, where we show you exactly how to demonstrate these competencies in a case study format. And then in that process, we also give you a chance and say, now that we've showed you how it works, we give you a mini case study. So a mini case study is developed from a previous ICAZ APC case study where we say, spend half a day and responding to the tasks within this case study, and let's see how you perform. And we mark and assess your script and provide you with an outcome and provide you with feedback as to how you performed. And this feedback will come in the form of a letter to you indicating exactly what you've done well, what you didn't do so well and requires development going forward, and what is the advice that we have for you. And we do that for every single task that we would have given you, and we look at it on an overall basis. But over and above that, the script that you would have submitted to us for assessment, some marker would have worked through that and assessed you diligently against what you've written and what was expected of you. Where you've done well and you've demonstrated a competence, they will award you that competence. Where you are running short, they will indicate why they are not awarding you a particular competence. Okay, so that is what we do between May and June. Really, after developing your competencies, we demonstrate those competencies, and then we say, now you're ready to be assessed at a full scale, which is a case study assessment. And the case study assessment is written over a full day, so 8 hours. And we've got 3 case studies that you're going to be attempting between July to end of October. So the 3 case studies, the first one is what we call the baseline case study. And the baseline case study is where you've got to demonstrate competence, because this is now the first time we're really assessing you and it counts the most. But in the baseline case study, there will be 2 types of candidates. There will be those that I call them the eager beavers, and those are the candidates that will knock the case study out of the park from the word go, because they had the practice in the mini case study and they get to the baseline and they are already demonstrating all those competencies to demonstrate to me that they are competent. Well, that's the first candidates. And then I say we've got then the average candidates. And the average candidates will be the candidates that after that case study, when we assess and evaluate their performance, we're like, there's still a lot of work that we need you to work on. So we will identify areas where they still did not demonstrate competence, which is perfectly okay because it's really your first full case study. And it's a baseline, for the name tells you that it's evaluating your base, where you are really at. And it's okay to not be declared competent in that case study. Okay, so for either whether you are an eager beaver candidate or you are an ordinary candidate like me and Rendani, then all of us are going to write the second case study, which is what we call the final assessment. And the final assessment, if you demonstrate competence, that's where we expect everyone now to be competent, okay? Because you're not seeing this for the first time. You're now seeing it, and not for the second time. You're seeing it for the third time because you saw it at the mini case study, you saw it at the baseline, and now you're seeing it at the final. We expect everyone to demonstrate competence. And if you do demonstrate competence, good. What does it mean? But who am I? Am I the eager beaver that was competent in the baseline and now competent here in the final? If you are there, meaning you demonstrated competence twice in the baseline and competence in the final, then we are saying, here's a certificate that declares you that you are ready to go and sit for the ICAZ assessment in December. But what if I was the ordinary candidate going through the ordinary route where I started by not being competent, and now when I got to the final, I've demonstrated competence? What about me? Then we say, in your case, we sending you to the final, the third case study assessment, which is the supplementary assessment, so that you also have the opportunity to demonstrate competence twice. And when you get to the supplementary assessment and you demonstrate competence, then you also then would have demonstrated that you were on the trajectory. You started at not competent, you went to competent, and you sustained that competence. Then we provide you with an APC certificate to go and sit for ICAZ APC in December. And this supplementary for the eager beavers, it will still be voluntary. You can voluntarily sit for it and you'll get feedback as well, even though it wouldn't count because you already have the certificate. Next slide, Rendani. And while Rendani is pushing the slide, oh, that was it. Okay, great. Maybe let me just push it back, Rendani. Let me highlight some of the things. So maybe some of the things that really are going to distinguish us, and I spoke high level about them, that are important is I spoke about the professional competencies, and I spoke about things that will make you thrive as a chartered accountant and things that you will find in our program. And these things are things like business acumen. And business acumen is really ensuring that you are able to adapt to different sectors. You might be in the private sector and you need to adapt to public, or the other way, or you might be in a construction industry and you want to go to banking, or you might need to go to real estate, or you might want to go to insurance, etc. How do you make sure that you thrive in each of those industries? We provide you with tools. So Rendani will be one of the key players in demonstrating to you how to demonstrate that business acumen by taking you through a workshop that will unpack different tools that you can use to evaluate and to adapt to a case study or to a new employer or to a new business. And also we have business acumen sessions wherein we bring exceptional leaders that are experts in their industries and in their sectors to come and share with you their journey and what makes their business tick, the business risks that they're faced with and how they're mitigating those. It's quite an interesting journey, and we really bring issues that are very topical and industries that are very topical. So that's business acumen. We've got critical thinking, which Randani spoke about, the fact that we've got a resident doctor, Dr. Elton Pullen, who studied critical thinking in his PhD, and will take you through the tools to demonstrate why you are how you can become a critical thinker. And then we've got business language experts to also come and explore with you over a workshop, not one, various workshops where they really unpack with you guys as to what are the tools that you must use to make sure that when you express yourself in a written form, you do so well, and you speak to the audience, focusing exactly as to what the audience are looking for, and you're structured in the way your thoughts are coming and in your way you express your thoughts on paper, just so that you can be successful in the APC. There's a lot. I can spend an hour talking about the various support systems that you're going to get from our program, etc. But I think, Randani, as you deal with also the general information, you can unpack a lot more of the ones that I've left out. Okay. I see there's a question from Diana. If you are average on the baseline, as well as final assessment, can you still write the supplementary? So Diana, when you say average, I'm assuming you mean if you did not demonstrate competence. Absolutely. If you did not demonstrate competence, meaning you are not competent in the baseline, and for some weird reason, you are not competent in the final as well, then you will be coming to the principal's office. We'll call you to the principal's office and say, Diana, you are at risk of not getting the certificate at the end. But because you've demonstrated this commitment to this journey, go and make sure you work twice as hard to fix the issues that we picked up and provided you with feedback in the baseline, and we provided you with feedback in the final, and then you've got the opportunity, the last opportunity to sit for the supplementary. So absolutely, yes, you will be afforded the opportunity to sit for the supplementary. But in that supplementary, you've got to, without any doubt, show us that you've worked through those issues and you are now competent. And then, yes, you will qualify for the certificate that will enable you to sit for the ICAZ APC. Did I respond fairly to your question, Diana? Great, thanks. Any other question? Cool. Rendani, you want to pick it up from here?
Sure. Thank you so much, Freddie. Thank you, everyone. Yes, so just to then quickly wrap it up, some general information. So firstly, is the pricing information between the two programs. I know it is it. Yeah, the APC professional program, it's about 16,000 rands, and the CIMA to CA conversion, it's 17,500. And the idea is that if you enroll into our CIMA to CA and you complete it come end of November, then you join the APC, you then get a discount of about 13,000, about 3,500, and only pay 13,500 in 2025. So there is some incentive in terms of then for those that are looking to do both and saying that, sure, how does that work? And the idea is that from just the two programs, if you want to pay it in installment, there is an opportunity for you to do so. And if you pay it in advance, there is also a discount that is applicable. The registration for the APC professional program for 2024 closes end of 30 April. And the CIMA to CA/ACCA conversion course then closes on 31 May 2024. So just a month apart. If you are saying that, sure, I just want to see how everything works before I commit, you are more than welcome to attend our Saturday session. So on 6 April, we're going to be doing a launch. So as part of our thank you, we're going to send you details of if you want to just come and attend and just see, based on what we are talking about on Saturday, whether you will be ready to do the APC professional program. Please, you are more than welcome to do so, and we'll strongly encourage you to do so, especially if you have not made up your mind. But if you have made up your mind, I'll then encourage you to do it. I'll encourage you to then commit to the program that you will want to be in and then proceed accordingly. All right. Then the other thing is just how does it work? Let's say you are now a CIMA member, ACCA member, and you want to then pursue the profession through this journey. So what will then happen? You will need to make sure you are still a member of your professional body. They will need to confirm that you are a member in good standing. In other words, there are no disciplinary action against you. You have not skipped your subscription payments and so on. Then you need to then what? You need to then approach both us and ICAZ. ICAZ, you need to notify them that yes, you are doing what? You are then interested in pursuing this route. They'll then give you the requirements, but essentially they will just even from a South African context, it's a rubber stamp to say yes, you can register. But what that confirmation does is that it exempts you from the training requirement from, say, articles, or as we call them, articles. So you'll then be exempted from doing articles. And then you will then join our program. We will need to keep on file the confirmation that you are eligible to do an APC program, as well as that you are a member in good standing. So we'll keep those in our records, and you do so through the submission of the KMB form. And if you are doing the CIMA to CA conversion or ACCA conversion course, those requirements are not necessary because this is just a prep course ahead of the main program. So it is not necessary for you to then go through all that process. Then, as I'm saying, the programs kick off in April. The timetables are available on our website, so you can just go check them out. If you have any question, our team of caretakers and also ourselves are available in order to support you. Then once you are enrolled, we are just finalizing some details, but come end of April, come end of May, you will know where in Harare you'll be sitting for your APC assessment that Fade was talking about. And we'll also be scheduling some classes that side, and you'll then have details about that as well. So we are just finalizing those details with ICAZ. And once we are there, we'll be more than happy to share those with you. From our side, we are very excited to be supporting you, and we look forward to having you in the program and joining this together in order to ensure your success. And that is everything that we had for you this evening. I don't know if there are any questions from there. So sorry, I missed the timelines you just highlighted now. So Elton, happy to repeat that. So what I'm saying is, one, if you want to join the APC professional program, we are essentially kicking off on the 6th of April. So this weekend, that's when our first class will then be happening. So that's number one. Then if you are saying that, oh, okay, I don't think I'll be registered by then for whatever reason, but you are keen on attending that class. So when we send the thank you email for attending this session tomorrow, we'll then provide you with details on how you can join the class without necessarily finalizing your registration by now. And if you are still on the fence of, should I do CIMA to CA stroke ACC conversion course, or should I do the APC program, then that session might just help you to better understand the level of expectation of that. Then that is the APC professional program. Then the CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course, then it will be launching in 2 weeks' time from now. So when it launches, then that will then have, that will launch in 2 weeks' time. And the APC professional program, the last date to register is 30 April. Whereas the CIMA to CA, the last date to register, it's 31 May 2024. So those are the crucial dates. So starting point, APC professional program, 6 April. Then CIMA to CA stroke ACCA in 2 weeks' time. Closing dates, APC professional program, 30 April. And then the CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course, closing date, 31 May. So those are the crucial dates at this particular point in time. Then if you are paying through installments, is there a minimum payment? Yes, we normally demand 25% of the tuition that I've discussed. So it means that if you're joining the APC professional program, for 25% of 16,000 will be 4,000. Then you have until 31 July to settle the full payment. When you join the CIMA to CA stroke ACCA conversion course, same process, 25%, but there I think we give you about 4 months to then settle the balance. So that is the current arrangement if you are paying through installments. Okay. Then Diana is asking, how do we send the letter of good standing via the KMB? Is it on the website? So once you register, then you get a welcome letter. The welcome letter will give you your Endonormal login details that you use in order to access our forms. So you will then be instructed and given guidance on the KMB form. And when we give you that guidance, we will also just clarify where you find it. And in terms of completion, it's quite self-explanatory. It does tell you that, yeah, personal information, education, and so on and so on. So when you get to the education level, you'll then be able to what? You'll then be able to upload that letter there. Do we have a link? So the link, as I was saying, yeah, so the link will then be available in the thank you note that we're going to send you tomorrow. But once you register, the links are available on your portal. Okay. If paying through, yeah, I've done that. How much is the CIMA to CA? So just to confirm, so the CIMA to CA 17. So starts, let's say mid-April. ends 30 November. Closing date, it's 31 May. So I'm just summarizing the key facts there. Then the APC professional program. There we go. So I've just summarized the two for you. Sure. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I see Elton is typing. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, but I think, yeah, that's what we had installed for you today. So in the thank you note that I'm gonna write you, I'll also attach the brochures for the two programs as well as the timetable. So you can then have a look and just see the details of the two programs. And again, if you've got questions, then there'll be details about who we can speak to. But we are ready and available to talk to you and make sure by the time you make the decision, you've made the decision that is beneficial for you. Any other question? If there isn't, I'm happy for us to close the session. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and looking forward to engaging with you in the next coming days. Yeah, the recording will also be part of that thank you note. Yes, Alton, it will be there. Yes. So in case you are also part of the traditional and you're saying that, yeah, you missed the traditional, the link for the traditional will also be there. No worries at all. No worries at all. No worries. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure to chat with you, and hoping to have you and further engage on on these matters together. Have a very good night. Cheers.
Thank you.